All right, Leo, welcome to your weekly horoscope for April 6th through the 12th. My name is Athen. All right, another powerful week yet again with all this Uranus Pluto activity. But this is the last of the fast-moving planets to go over Uranus this week, and these two planets, Uranus and Pluto, get outside of the 1-degree orb, really loosening things up in regards to it as we unfold through April. But it's still very important this week in particular, especially for you Leos, while your ruler goes over Uranus, which I'll talk about. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm going to go ahead and recap in terms of what all this Uranus-Pluto business has been about for you. Uranus has been transiting your 8th house, which is helping you break free from the deeper elements of life, what life is really about, the bonds that you have with others, the deeper connections, whether it's with relationships, your work, seeing the truth, spreading the truth of what life is truly about, or what's actually happening in the world, these types of things. So whatever that's been for you, the changes of life and seeing the truth of things has been an opportunity for you to break free, to be yourself through that area, to speak your truth, to have freedom in life through the changes, through the ups and downs, the ebb and flows of the universe. So that's been a very powerful energy, but most of it was last month in March when we had those two exact. And for the past few years, they've been contacting each other. So it's been a very powerful few years in regards to that. But that 8th house energy has been squaring up to Pluto in your 5th house, which is about your self-expression. Pluto in the 5th, especially for you Leos who express yourself, and that's a huge part of your personality there, has been changing. How you express, how you create, how you make things in the world. And this is, of course, yourself, and give and contribute and just share yourself with the world, essentially, or just with others. And so all of that's been going through a major revitalization and change here, like I said, over the past few years in particular, helping you get to the core, to the truth of yourself. Strip away all those old things relating to your self-expression and creativity. They're just no longer serving you, to help you speak the truth very powerfully, which is where the Pluto energy comes from. A very powerful self-expression and creativity comes from that when you strip away all of the garbage, basically. So that has been the theme. And so now this week we have the fast-moving planets, Sun and Mercury, last of them going over Uranus. So let's look at the weekend. Leading into this week, we had the lunar eclipse in that 8th house. 8th house is highly activated for you once again, which is the depth, the truth, the ebb and flows of life, the change, the deeper connections. And so this has been a time maybe of reflection over the weekend in regards to lunar eclipse, or a high time too of maybe some bonds you've formed since then, or one bond in particular, something like that also. Whatever's been the culmination since October, which is when we had the solar eclipse energy of this part of your chart. So a high time and a culmination, observational time, but also a time of adjustment, as all eclipses are. Adjustment of your path here, helping you get to the truth, the depth, the transparency, helping you be more transparent with yourself and others, basically. And so that was hopefully, there was some hopeful information here that came to you hopefully over the weekend that you can take with you into this week. Maybe Sunday could have been very powerful day in particular with your self-expression and those 5th house related things. But that's good. It's all for these positive changes which are unfolding. On Monday, we have the Sun conjuncting Uranus, your ruler here. So this is breaking free, very much so, especially for you Leos, regarding those deeper elements of life and the truth, and all those 8th house matters. So breaking free from restriction, being yourself, doing something different, and all in all, that is helping you be yourself. And that's just what this is. It's your ruler over Uranus, just being yourself on Monday and feeling the immense freedom that gives. And that's very expansive energy, because on that day, Mercury also trines up to Jupiter, which is very expansive. Jupiter's been transiting your 12th house, retrograde, but going direct this week on Wednesday. And so you've been perhaps reflecting on the spiritual side of life and the spiritual things, the rest, the relaxation, these 12th house matters since the beginning of December when he's been retrograde. But there's been lots of opportunities for you since the middle part of last year to get in touch with your spirituality, to get that rest and relaxation, have that meditative time, connect to the deeper elements of life, essentially. So that energy is opening you up, expanding your mind in many ways. It could be some good news relating to these things also with Mercury here on Monday. Then Venus goes into Taurus, which is your 10th house. Now, this is where a lot of the fast-moving planets are going to slowly start to go into your 10th house, which is about work, career, and anything on that public level. So now Venus in the 10th is about enjoying it. So through May 2nd, while she's in your 10th house, enjoy the work, enjoy the public-related things, because you certainly can with Venus in that part of your chart. Also making connections too in work, through work as well. Tuesday, the Uranus Pluto Square eases up out of the 1-degree orb, but Tuesday and Wednesday we have Mercury going over Uranus, squaring up to Pluto. So Mercury is more of a not so personal, especially not for you, because your sun was very personal on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, things will start to become a little bit more understandable, rational, practical, which is Mercury, a little bit more neutral in that sense, helping you see exactly what it is a little bit more in detail that you're breaking free from, especially in the day-to-day environment with whatever it is you're involved with in that sphere, which is Mercury. And again, to express yourself powerfully, to balance this depth, this truth, this stuff you're uncovering with your self-expression, which is what all this energy has been about for the past few years. And so now it's very practical, very real, could be on the day-to-day level, which is very good. If you get some new ideas about some of these things, fantastic. Just keep everything nice and grounded, because it is a square up to Pluto, but still powerful nonetheless. Wednesday, Jupiter goes station direct, helping move forward now for the first half of this year now. More of the opportunities for the spirituality, tranquility, rest and relaxation, behind-the-scenes activities now for the next few months as we get to the halfway point of this year with that Jupiter transit. I think you'll notice more and more of those opportunities, especially as April unfolds. Less of the internal, more of the external type of spiritual stuff, spiritual opportunities. Thursday and Friday, the Sun conjuncts up to Mercury. So this is your planet. Now Mercury is going behind your planet here. So for you in particular, I think this is about, listening to your passion, right? There's excitement. There's a lot of things firing up this week, and relating to all those things, especially the 8th and 5th house here. So now with Mercury, it's just make sure that you are communicating rationally, because in other words, from our perspective, Mercury is behind you. It's behind your ruler. And so that means your center stage, your Leo energy can be in the forefront. So just make sure that you're balancing that with the rational, with the practical, with the day-to-day things. Okay, and if you bring that practical, rational element to this, to what you're expressing or creating, then you're getting the most out of this. And it can be very powerful in relation to your communications and speech and thought patterns. Saturday and Sunday, Venus goes into Aries, which is that 10th house of yours. Excuse me, I already talked about that. Mercury goes into Aries in your 10th house. Excuse me. No. Mercury goes into your 9th house, which is Aries. Okay, we talked about Venus in the 10th. Okay, Mercury goes into your 9th. This is Saturday and Sunday. This is you thinking, I think, more about travel, about philosophy, about wisdom. There's been a lot of activity here for you to gain more wisdom, to do some of the spiritual things, the astrology, the divinity, the expansive elements of life, whether it is expansion of physically through traveling or broad matters through the internet or broadcasting, or maybe it's more about your reading and philosophy and spiritual sort of things and understanding. So with Mercury there for the next few weeks, continue with that. Can be very practical, very real, very understandable, and still very motivating while you have Mars transiting that 9th house as well. Now Mars sextiles up to Neptune Saturday, Sunday, Monday of this week, so the weekend. Leading into next week is about following our visions. And the visions are in relation to perhaps these ideas or visions or ideals you have regarding relationships. You've had Neptune in your 7th house. And so now with Mars there means you can take action on these things. Maybe you've been thinking about something in the relationship area, maybe on the one-on-one area, whichever area of life that's in, but cooperating perhaps with others or getting involved in a relationship. Saturday, Sunday, Monday can be a very positive energy to put towards these 7th house matters and help you move forward into next week. All right, Leo, have a fantastic week. Let me know if you have any questions. Check the link down below for a personal reading, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.